That might be
It's a
great,
sandbox.
live
It's a
shot.
soapbox. It's FanBox.
And welcome to Tardis Talk, especially live on Saturday night instead of on Sunday, mainly because you got to go give your mom a hug tomorrow. Happy Mother's Day for everyone. But besides that, we have a new episode of Doctor Who that we are talking about. Of course, it's the second season for our 15th Doctor, and it's also the 15th episode of the show, which kind of works out in itself. But this is the story and the engine. I'm Tony. You can find me here on It's Fanbox, as well as you can find me on socials as Mr. Marvelite. And then on top of that, we have our Rogues Gallery. So Johnny, go ahead and tell us where we can find you.
Hi everyone, I am Johnny, also known as Marvelous Johnny. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, TikTok. Definitely go onto my TikTok because I got a lot of content coming out lately after Thunderbolts. So just don't forget the extra L.
Got it. And David.
Hey, I'm Xanatos1138 on all socials, mostly TikTok, trying to do Twitch. You can also find me on other shows for It's Fanbox, like the After Show, here on Tardis Talk, and I'm going to try and do some more Star Wars stuff weekly.
Awesome. And if you did not look at or was watching it live, the Andor After Show last night went 3 hours
We went
long.
over 3 hours.
And we had a really good conversation.
Yeah, it was very active. I know I jumped in and out like watching, and like it was great. And if you don't know about, Dragon Lady JJ, Chase, and it was Sus Theories, I think it is. Sus Theories.
Sus Theories.
Yeah.
I did the same thing when I first read her name.
Same.
I think is it Sus Theories?
Suspicious Theories.
Yeah. But yeah, so Will is not currently with us. He may join us later on. Niko is not going to be with us this evening. But we're talking about the story and the engine, which is taking place in Lagos, Nigeria. And I'm just going to start off and say this. This episode actually made me go back and watch Dot Bubble again. For a specific reason that we can go into in a minute, but let's go ahead and get overall thoughts so far.
I actually watched this episode twice. I watched it earlier, and then I watched it a couple hours ago just to keep it fresh in my mind. And it in comparison to other episodes, especially for this season, it felt kind of lighter in tone, sort of. But the visuals, the concept of a story engine, and like the cool design.
Very Rick and Morty for me.
I've only seen a couple episodes of Rick and Morty. That's one of the many things that I really should watch, and I just haven't. But I feel like the spider is going to end up being a toy of some sort because of the face, and it didn't quite look like a regular spider. It's funny how the themes of spiders was happening with this and with Andor.
Yep.
And the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
So the humans made it something absolutely disgusting.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And we're on it right now. So
yeah, we're making the place a lot worse.
Oh yeah. Honestly, it was a little bit lighter, as in there wasn't a lot of set pieces. There wasn't a whole lot more. I mean, you've got the TARDIS, you've got them, them going through the marketplace in Lagos. You've got the barber shop, and then a little bit of winding, maze tunnels to get to the actual engine. But honestly, I think there's a lot of concepts that were in there. I mean, knowing that this is a place that our 15th Doctor goes to, because there's a lot of places in the world that he can't appear anymore because he's not received. And that's where it got me. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back and watch Dot Bubble, because that ending when he's saved their lives and he's like, oh, let's get in the TARDIS. I'll get you to a planet where you're gonna be safe. And they actually, one of them said voodoo, the other one said, turn away before you basically contaminate yourself. And realizing he's probably, since changing into a black man, is definitely more apt to gravitate to places where he's going to be accepted, and he's going to have, his own culture that's going to be accepted as this version of himself.
Mhm.
And we got that special little cameo of the fugitive doctor as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which was a bit
Oh.
confusing because now I'm just like, so does the Doctor remember most of their life before the first Doctor now,
I
or
think
what's happening?
I think the 15th Doctor remembers the fugitive doctor part at the very least. Like there's some sprinkles of that, but then there's a bunch of other stuff in that fob watch that are just locked away in the TARDIS somewhere. The only thing is when she was 13, she got those like little memory blips constantly in the final episodes of her run.
Okay.
True. And I also think like there wasn't an immediate recognition of the god that he was looking at.
Mhm.
And so it took a moment for there to be that recollection. And so maybe what we're going to get with Fugitive Doctor is where there will be things that will trigger the Doctor's memories down the road. Because if you think about it, like, and again, limited, I've only been binging for like the last year. One of the things I have noticed with the Doctor is when the Doctor remembers something, it's almost instantaneous. Like he's like, oh yeah, of all of the hundreds of, the thousands of years that he's lived, he goes back and can recall everything. I think the most that it took for him was to figure out, the 12th face,
Mhm.
like
Yeah,
where he
where
had
that
recalled that
face came
before. Like
from.
why did he
Yeah.
get that specific face? But most of the time, like he recalls the civilizations and the aliens that he's interacted with, and he can go back and say, oh yeah, there was this and there was that.
Mhm.
And I think I think we'll probably get more of that. I love the fact that she was in it though.
I don't hate that she was in it. It's just like whenever I see the Fugitive Doctor, anything that calls back to the Timeless Child always makes me ask a billion questions. Is the thing. So
And
that's
maybe we're gonna
me.
get it though. Like
Maybe,
like
but
honestly, I wasn't sure how much of Jodie's run was going to kind of translate over into newer Who, and the fact that they did that gives me hope.
right.
And even with the TV screens of the previous Doctors, I've only been a Doctor Who fan for 2 to 3 years, and I still got a pang of nostalgia seeing all of the
Oh,
compilation of Doctors.
hearing 12 with that speech going, when you fire that first shot, you don't know who's going to die, how many lives it will affect. Hearing that made me swell up in emotions.
Oh yeah, like seeing that. Like I also I love the fact, like I don't really feel like with Jodie we got a whole lot of like pushback to the previous Doctors.
Mhm.
I mean, let's face it, like even with like 11 we got the Day of the Doctor, and
Yeah.
so we got William Hurt, we got David Tennant coming back, and then we had a superimposed number of other Doctors, and then you had that little reveal at the end with the curator, which I ended up watching that again today because my kid put it on. I love the fact that my kid, like, I'm like, there's a new episode of Doctor Who? He's like, yeah, but I'm watching this right now, and I'm like, I love the fact that he likes the Zygons, and like
I
he's
love
going
that.
through all of that, and so it was one of those things where I was like sitting, I'm like, this makes me feel nostalgic too, because there was that whole like flashback on the storyboard, like
Mhm.
seeing that, like I love that. And what did you guys think about the storyteller and his background and his like what he was?
Personally, for me, I found that this villain specifically left a bit more to be desired.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't hate the way they, because like as we've spoken in the past, like Moffat's way of writing is very hand wavy for the solution.
Uh-huh.
But in this instance, I'm very okay with how they used it in relation back to the villain and how he is very much, because like I don't know if you guys have ever read like Chariot of the Gods or anything like that, but it's a big influence on some of my favorite stories told in comic books specifically. And it gave me a lot of those vibes. The sheer idea of a mortal, a scholar pretty much, who was there at the whim of not just a single storytelling god, but a plethora of them. It was Loki, it was Anansi, it was it Saga. It was so many gods.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I kind of hope it goes the route though, like because I was watching the whole time going, okay, but they're aliens, right? Like they're not actual beings.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't know.
Yeah, see that's the interesting thing. Since we've gotten these what are we calling them now? The what do we call them? The Celestials or what? Like
The celestial gods, whatever the
yeah, like
celestial toy maker and
Pantheon.
everything.
the Pantheon. There we go, the
Yeah.
Pantheon.
Pantheon, yeah.
We've never really dealt with in Doctor Who much of the whimsical, like magical aspect of things, or like let's say even like fantastical like deities. There were aliens that represented themselves as gods,
Yeah, we
you
had
know,
the
through
gods of
history.
Ragnarok and stuff.
Right,
Mm.
exactly. But they were almost explainable as aliens of certain forms.
Mhm.
Whether we're going to get that explanation or not, it seems very interesting that, I don't know if it's Disney bringing that in, like, bippity boppity boo. Here's
I mean,
your
speaking of Disney, we even heard the Doctor say himself, like, I watched the entire MCU with Saga themselves up
yes,
until Endgame, and I straight up paused, rewinded, and I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with this. Yes, I'm a big Marvel shield, but at the same time, I don't care if Disney wanted them to add in an MCU joke or not, or if that was just purely the Doctor Who crew themselves. But this is a funny ass joke because Saga was a Norse god, and the joke being she didn't like Thor though. His muscles were too small.
Mm-hmm.
right. Yeah, and I love that part of it. Like I feel like there's a little bit more ability to nod at things with this, and of course, Disney's involved, so it makes it a little bit easier. But
It's also so funny to hear him reference the MCU though when we know Unit is there now. What is pretty much Avengers Tower.
I know in England, yes, like
Yeah.
it cracks me up. Because that's all I can think of whenever I see Unit Tower. I'm like, oh, that's Avengers Tower.
It's Avengers Tower. They probably use like 80% of the same assets and then just changed the top.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that. That's awesome.
But overall, I
Unit
don't
is
know about
just
you guys,
Shield.
but like this episode just it just really stuck with me. I was thinking about it after I watched it this morning, and then up until this episode of us recording, it was just
Yeah.
constantly on my mind.
Even
Go.
the story with Belinda and that quick Mrs. Flood cameo where she walks in. It's like, don't worry, I'm just coming to get my meds. But
Yeah,
it was a beautiful backstory for Belinda
Yeah.
that I wasn't expecting to get.
no, legit. Hearing how Belinda cares so much for other people, and she even had to like not go visit her gran for what I'm assuming was her birthday, but to have that prologue earlier on about how Belinda's grandma would take her back to India. I'm just like, oh man, okay, these two quick little vignettes of Belinda's stories show so much about her as well as her family.
Also, there's this like concept because remember in what was it, Robot Revolution, when she was making the comment about doctors that really don't do anything, but they're like they take command.
Yeah.
Like we see a doctor who doesn't want to do the work. She puts it off on her, and it's her job to save lives. So you get that animosity there, but at the same time, you also understand more why it's so important for her to get home. She's lost so much time doing the right thing, and I feel like she's just like, no, I want to go home. I need to be with my family. I'm tired of this.
I think this episode also revealed that like, is Belinda's grandma on her deathbed? Maybe is that also part of the reason why she wants to get home so badly? Right?
Possible.
Begs a lot more.
Yeah, I just I do also like the fact that that didn't take much convincing. Like the doctor went into the TARDIS, he's like, okay, whatever, and understanding the importance of him having a place to identify amongst people like him.
To be
She's
in a
like,
community, right?
yeah, she's like, go, take. Yeah, take your time, have your fun, go do your thing. Like, I completely understand this because this is what my family takes me home, and I completely understand it. And for him to be able to
And
go
that
off
line
and do
of just
that,
that's the most human thing possible.
right? Yeah, because let's face it, apart from Jodie, because of the sexism, the doctor's always been very white and white passing, and has been in a place of, let's say it, privilege to be able to go wherever he wants and do whatever he wants. And so him not being limited in what he can do. It does resound more, and just kind of seeing that, and then him going, and I kind of felt really bad for him when he ends up in the barbershop, and the guy who he was like, he's like, you're like my brother, like
Mhm.
I trusted you and you're doing this to me. Like I felt really bad for him in that moment.
No, legit. And I don't know what it. I mean, I think I know why this episode, but it's like this episode truly struck a chord with me. I think because of that cultural aspect and
Mhm.
that longing for community. Because like I'm lucky enough that we have this, that I've met you guys through TikTok of all places,
Uh-huh.
and that I can just come here, shoot the shits, feel comfortable, reveal almost every single facet of myself to you guys when it comes
Mhm.
to this thing that we love, or in part because of this thing that we love.
Mhm.
So for the Doctor to have that, and then to have that moment of betrayal, it truly feels
Mhm.
like when someone in our community, for say, we're not going to name any names, of course, but like it's when we find out someone in the community is just like bit of a racist, bit of a sexist,
Uh-huh.
has said some questionable things, and turns out some of them are just also really shitty. Luckily, that's not what the Doctor had to go through, but
Mhm.
to have that moment of vulnerability and mistake as well within his own community, and then to still find it within the Doctor and the other person, that at the end they both truly do care.
Mhm.
And that's just what I loved.
No, I completely identify with that. Like, and like, let's take what you said a little bit deeper too, because like we've all three of us, have met through social media, and funny enough, I believe, like, even with our group, with the exception of Will, because Will is kind of, off in California, and we haven't really been able to meet up with him yet. Um, we've all met each other. Like,
Yeah,
you, David, me, Niko. We've been
I've yet to
in the
meet
same.
Niko. I really want to meet Niko in person.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let me just say this: you guys get along because he's taller than he is in video.
It's
Yep.
gonna
And
be
it's
great for a
unsettling.
crisp high five between us.
Oh, absolutely. Like you guys will be the gentle giants in the group, and then like there's me and David. But
Oh, I'm not gentle. Also, David's tall too. He's like about 6 feet.
well, I'm almost 6 feet too, but at the same time, like you guys are much taller.
No, I'm about the same height as Johnny.
Yeah.
How am I blotting that out?
Maybe.
Why did daggone it?
This is so okay. So what I'm hearing is the three of us need
Everybody's
to
look
just take a photo with a celebrity together and just really get that image in our head.
David, why did I think we were the same height?
I
You,
there
it
was a
was
point at New
real
York
to me.
Comic
It was
Con.
real to me, man.
There was a point at New York Comic Con. It was me, you, James, and blanking on his real name, but CK. Fuck. Sorry. We're all
It's fine. We're
standing
just people.
around, and you're like, you said something like, I hate it. You're all so much taller. Something
Oh,
like that.
geez, I forgot. Man, man. Okay, never mind. Screw that. Um, dag on it.
Anyways, back to our community, having the
Yeah,
pleasure of meeting
no,
each
but
other.
like, yeah, but like having the pleasure to meet each other, like honestly, like I did social media, I would like, do I fit in with like everybody? Like, could I have problematic thinking, everything else? I
Mhm.
mean, meeting people like JJ, and her, like talking through with her and with everything else, and realizing like where we fit in with each other, and having like so much like-mindedness. Yeah, are we like giant creators? Like, oh, of course, everybody's watching this show right now, right? You're all out there. BBC is like paying attention to us, exactly. But no, but the community that we built is so much more important than algorithm and statistics and everything else. I don't know what kind of mental state I would be in if I didn't have my friends. And I don't
Yeah.
say my online friends, my friends. You guys are
Mhm.
my friends. And that's just how it is. Because honestly, I don't if we're not real friends here, I don't know any real people. So that's
I
just,
would I would be so much more ignorant. I feel like
yeah,
I'd be so much more depressed.
friends over
yeah,
the years, from like when I started TikTok to now, I have learned so much from all of my friends.
absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's the thing. So like seeing the Doctor resonate with people, and like not even to the point of where like he's going in there and everyone's excited to see him and he's happy to see them. Like that's Comic-Con. That's
Yeah.
just, like you're right. Like hey, like actually like I'll never forget was it Juju? Like I was mutuals with him for a long while. And I'm like, he's got a bigger following. Like, what does he really care? But then I think the first time I ran into him in person, like he just kind of like I was talking to somebody else, and all of a sudden there's this arm around me and this head on my shoulder, and he's like, "I'm so glad you made it." I'm like, "Geez, dude, I didn't even know we were that close." But hey, like okay. And so like even like when I like him with my kid, like you can't lose sight of that. And I think that's how it's so important, like seeing him like that, seeing the doctor like that, not Juju, but seeing the doctor like having that community. I completely understand that. And maybe that's why I like this episode so much.
Mhm.
It wasn't as plot heavy. And let's face it was loose with the plot in a lot of cases because, like, oh, the story's power of the engine, and the engine's a giant spider, and the spider is on a giant web, and the web is the stories. And I'm like, oh, it could be like Web of Lies. But regardless, we didn't go into any of that. We just went into a bunch of people that resound with each other and telling stories. And like, again, it's winning a character over because I feel at the end we've won the storyteller over to doing something different with his life. Instead of looking for vengeance, let's look at being more productive. And what better place for a storyteller than in a barbershop? I think that's the coolest
Exactly.
thing.
Where you get to hear them and share them too, right?
Yeah.
And if you can't tell, I recently also got a haircut, so very felt.
I think
Yeah, I was inspired to cut my own hair today. So yeah.
Niko said the same thing. He just got a haircut. He's like, "Yeah, what a great time to watch the episode. I got to cut my hair at some point soon. I'm like waiting as long as possible so I can be bald for Kingpin next week."
There you go.
But
Yeah.
Also, it is Niko's birthday at midnight, so everyone make sure you wish him a happy birthday.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
will have to
That's
do that.
remember
For
that's
sure.
Niko Skywalker on TikTok, Skywalking Niko on Instagram. Since he's not here to plug himself, we're gonna plug it for him. Go wish him a happy birthday. I know he'll appreciate it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
But
So I went back and watched Dot and Bubble with this episode.
okay.
And I think it was more so because I'm like, okay, he's talking about how he's not accepted in certain places. And so I went back and watched it again. And I think it's funny because I mean, we've talked about it a while and I didn't go back and watch it since we've been talking about it the last couple weeks, especially since, Sarah didn't know that, it was all about racism. But
we're gonna need to go back soon so that we can figure out what she thought of that after revisiting it.
I know, right? But I was like realizing that my perception, not noticing the racism, was kind of problematic because after I watched it the second time, I'm like, this is really cringe. Like the way they're acting. Like I don't like any of these people.
Yeah, once you see it at the end, when you go back, that's like, it's the best episode to rewatch.
Especially when she tells them, like, guys, I'm sorry, but listen to him. And like they're all muted. And if you watch while he's talking, they're talking like they're disgusted, but they're muted. So you can't hear what they're actually saying. But it's so like, it's like, it made me real uncomfortable the second time around. So,
Yeah. No, it was honestly a freaky one.
Yeah. How'd you like the spider, Johnny?
That's the thing. When I found out that it was okay, so when I first saw the spider in the preview, I'm like, oh great, spiders, actual spiders, because like we see actual web. So I'm like, okay, it's got to be an actual spider. And then you message the group, and I'm like, okay, it's mechanical. Let's give it a go. I was gonna watch the episode regardless because I didn't want to be a call to racist for
you can see
one episode set in Lagos.
Hold on. Oh. Sorry. Okay, I had to show the picture, but then I realized to cut our audio off.
Oh, but yeah. So I'm looking at it right now, and like the fact that it's not that it doesn't have like a standard spider face, I'm very much more okay with it. The legs still freak me the shit out, though. I'm gonna say that, but overall, I'm more accepting of it.
When I saw the spider explode, I'm like, this was Johnny's favorite part right here.
Evidently,
I can do it this way now. We can talk. Yeah, you can see the actual mechanical parts of it. Well, I saw that because I was creating the the title card, and I was like, oh, it's mechanical. Oh, we're good.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then it decided to try to come out the barbershop like it was
That was the
sentient.
weird part. I'm just like, okay then. I guess it can feel pain and it just wants to escape. That's what I went with. But yeah,
Yeah, because I thought wasn't the engine like the heart of the storyteller?
yeah.
Yeah, it looked uh like it folded out into like a life tree sort
Mhm.
of shape.
Uh-huh.
And it
Yeah.
looked really like the whole thing in there looked really cool, great set piece, and just the metaphor of the heart and the mind of stories.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know. I've already stated that I like the way the solution is reached. How about you guys though?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it was good.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah.
I like I said, it's very hand wavy,
Hmm.
but I love that it's just the purest best form of these stories are ours. You can take them all you want, but they will forever stick to us.
Well,
Oh, and I also love the fact that like when the doctor sat down in the chair, the images were more vivid.
mhm.
Hmm.
Like kind of knowing like his power and the whole thing. Because like I
Hmm.
mean, obviously, like the doctor's got lots of stories and he's also got lots of power. And so, would make sense that he would power the engine, a lot better than they would.
Yeah,
And putting the map out in his hair and then like explaining the reasoning for that was a pretty cool touch
Yes.
too.
that was a great way to do things. I love
Yeah.
that part.
I
Yeah.
did like that. I like that. I like the hair a lot at that point. I was like, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
So
And what is it that it even got me thinking as well. I'm just like, what is your life story in just 6 words? And I still can't come up with mine, but you know,
Hmm.
I like episodes that get you thinking, that get you to ponder a lot of the themes and a lot of what happens in this episode with your own life,
absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. I don't know how I would explain my life in 6 words.
Mm.
Um oh yeah, so Z says he likes it when they best the baddie with words. Yeah, I like that too. I like when it's like when there's an understanding, there's like a culmination of like explanation, and the way the doctor did that, saying like, the 6 words, he lives, he dies, he
And
lives
he
again.
and he saved the bad guy. Like he actually redeemed him pretty much.
Yeah.
Say and he was like, I don't deserve this. And they just kind of ignored him. Like, nah, you're fine.
I like that. And I'm grateful for happiness. Yeah,
Mm.
good phrase.
Love it. Was it though? We also had what I think was a big revelation for this season too, because this guy goes like, I started out small. I had started with a pub lit by candles and then a church's confession box, and then we get to the cinema that we got with Lux, right?
Uh-huh.
And then I'm pretty sure we got like the spaceship from Robot Revolution.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So
Oh, right. Yeah. I only recognized the hotel, but that I was wondering where that spaceship was, and I forgot. It's in the first episode.
mhm. So it's even got me thinking. I'm like, so like, just is he responsible for all the god stuff? Like, how does he relate back to at least these two story arcs? For at least,
Well, that's the thing. So one of the things that made sense to me with him when he was talking was that, he was a storyteller for the gods, but his stories gave the gods presence. They gave them strength, they gave them power, because those stories materialized them in the hearts of men. And so whether it's the pantheon or whether it's, just the gods of, let's say, mythology, they exist in the way that they did because of his story. And we go from god to god, and of course we know that the doctor had interacted with these gods and said what he did with them, but it was really the only reason why they existed in their power was more beyond thought, was because of what the storyteller did. So does that mean that the storyteller has a place in what's going on next, or what happens for the culmination of the end of the season? It's very possible. I feel like at some point the doctor has to start bringing a team together, kind of like Mrs. Flood is,
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
I feel like we got jerk dude from last episode, Lucky Day. We've got the creature from Midnight. which I think somehow is going to be involved in whatever happens next.
I hope it doesn't. I want the Midnight and the Well to just stay
like its own
as
thing.
isolated as possible. And like if we ever revisit the Well or again, it'll be in its own self-isolated stories with another doctor or the same doctor even. But
Good point.
It's either gonna be like an end game moment where one team versus the other, or like when the David Tennant was fighting the toy maker and he had to go through this gauntlet of haunting stuff, of like revisiting things. It might be one of those things where Mrs. Flood is like, "Oh, you think that? Here's a reminder of why you're wrong," and then like something that he did in a previous episode comes back to haunt him.
Yeah, and do you think we're going to get? I mean, I know it's been discussed. And I think you guys had mentioned it last episode when I wasn't here. Do you think we're getting the Master at some point too? At this point, because there's kind of a little bit of a nod to it.
that's the thing. I heard an interesting theory where Mrs. Flood took what's his face, not Carlton, start of the sea, the douchebags.
I was
thinking of
a four-letter word that starts with a C.
There we go, Conrad.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the theory is that Conrad was released so that Mrs. Flood can like put the essence of the Master or something like that inside of him.
Huh.
So that would be an interesting way to do things. Like, we already hate his face. Let's put a soul inside of him that's as despicable as well.
I think it was despicable as it was.
I mean, yes.
He's definitely got the acting chops to do that.
Yeah, you know what? And also,
as close to Missy.
And Conrad, even knowing the truth, was still hateful against the Doctor. Like, he still wanted to twist it. And that's very much a Master thing.
It'll be like a Venom and a Venom symbiote and Eddie Brock situation where they both hate Peter Parker, so they become one. But this time it's Conrad and the Master. That could be fun.
Yeah, or just like break the tooth and like let the Master out and figure out what happens from there.
He just jams it inside his own mouth.
Ooh.
There's
what? You're afraid of spiders. I'm afraid of like gross stuff like that, like putting like another person's tooth in my mouth. Like no, can't do it.
I mean, it was a tooth that was inside of a god. I'm sure it's sanitary.
Holy water.
I don't care. Not at all. No. Like I think back on the what was it, the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies when what was it, Hemotep is still like coming back together and Mummy returns and she starts kissing him with like the holes in. I'm like no that is too far. No.
The bug crawling through the holes and he just goes chomp.
Yes, that goes back to the whole Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones, sticking your hand to pull the lever and all the bugs are crawling up into her hair. That's as far. Well, thank you for talking with us.
That imagery.
We're going to go ahead and leave at this point because I have to go take a shower. No, but yeah, I mean, what's the name of the next episode?
Next week's episode is the Interstellar Song Contest.
Oh, yes. Intergalactic American Idol.
Yep.
I don't know how I feel just from that preview. I'm just like, I don't know how much I'm going to like this episode, but okay, let's see.
Okay, listen, I did not like the idea of Doctor Who being on a train on the Mummy of Orient Express until I saw it, and I was like, I love that episode. There are things that the Doctor has done, like that Titanic episode, that I wasn't like when I saw the preview. I'm like, I don't know if I would want this, and then I liked it. So let's just give it a chance. It might be really good.
I'm hoping we get more of Mrs. Flood in the next episode, like something where she's not just kind of like saying hi and then bye, but she's actually there, and the Doctor starts to put it together.
I mean, we only have 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
Oh, Z, I like intergalactic Eurovision. Like, I don't even want to go there.
That's perfect.
Now I'm thinking Will Ferrell. No, but like I feel like she's Stan Leeing a lot of this show, and I want to get more out of her. I know there's like a lot of teases, but we were teased last season for her, and I I better not have to wait till like the last episode to figure out what's going on with her. At least the last two.
There's a term in wrestling called long-term storytelling. I think it's been long enough. We need to know who Mrs. Flood is.
Mhm.
Dude, we've had Mrs. Flood since the church on Ruby Road.
Yeah.
That's what, 2 years ago now?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some results. Not Chris Chibnall. Russell T Davies.
They're like, we're gonna tease you. Watch, we'll stop making Doctor Who, and you'll never know what happens.
Oh God, I would actually pull my hair out. I will throw sonic screwdrivers at the wall. You don't think it could be a weapon? I can make it a weapon.
Oh no, it could be a probe.
Now that's just too far. My anus just.
Was it time for Mrs. Flood to finish the story? Yeah, I agree. I mean, we know it's getting to that point. We know
that was. Sorry, that was a Cody Rhodes reference. That was actually a wrestling reference.
I didn't know that. I don't watch enough wrestling.
Neither do I. I'm glad you appreciated that.
There we go. David had something.
Oh man. Okay, so we want to go ahead and rate this.
I was gonna say, give me your rating, Tony.
I really liked it. I don't know if I liked it as much as like the last couple episodes.
Okay.
So I'm gonna give it like an 8.9.
Okay, so last episode you gave it an 8.5.
Did I? Let's go. Let's stick with that 8.5. Let's go back.
Okay.
I was thinking I gave it last episode a 9, but I forgot. So 8.5 sounds good. Yeah.
And how about you, David?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
An 8? Okay. So I entered in my score before we came on tonight. Would anyone like to try and guess what I gave it?
It really resounded for you. I'm gonna say you gave it at least a 9.
Okay, 9 from Tony. How about you, David?
Because you shocked me last week, I'm gonna say you gave it like a 7.5.
No, I gave it a 9. Tony got it right on the money.
The moment you said that this really like it was like wavy, but it was really resounding for you. Like I'm like, okay, so I'm imagining that in the future with Moffat episodes, you're probably gonna rate them lower, but this one obviously was good for you, so it had to have been higher than what you would rate the others.
If it didn't have the spider, it would have been a 10 for Johnny.
No, it was just more so like if we had more of the villain, I think.
Yeah.
It would have like more of the villain would have been perfect.
And before we even close this up, let's go. Let's rewind a second. Like I loved his presence. Like he didn't give a whole lot.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, absolutely. When he started cutting his own hair and he started talking, like even though it was lies, like I was sitting there going, okay, this guy is a little bit sinister. I like him
because of like the real world aspect, and I hate when this stuff bleeds into my mind when I'm watching stuff. I'm watching him cut his hair, going, "What if he messes up a line?"
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, how do they go back? I'm like, unless this is a wig.
Maybe.
Yeah, then they have to have like a couple of wigs on standby in case they have to do it again.
Which like wouldn't be the worst thing to use for a Doctor Who budget.
I need to go back and watch it though, but I think what happened was he did the line, and then once he did the line, he cut it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what he did was like, could you imagine? He's giving the line, he messes up. Okay, well, I'll wait. And then he does the line again, and it's like, okay, he cuts it, and it goes to another scene like of him cutting his hair. So,
or they just cut it each time, and they have it correspond with whichever one he's holding on to, and then like, we'll use this take, now cut.
That's a good point.
Pun intended.
A lot of fail safes for that.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. No.
Well, there was something that popped in my head that I want to talk about, but now I can't even remember. God damn it. Oh, right. No, full credit to the actor as well, because of expectations. I don't know about you guys, but did you guys think he was a god at first when he was saying all that?
Yeah, I kind of thought he was part of the Pantheon, possibly.
Same. Yeah, no. During his entire monologue, I'm like, I am waiting for something to drop, and then we just see the words Harbinger again.
Oh, yeah.
That never happened. However, I do think that like he kind of was a Harbinger, and then Anansi's daughter was the actual... I mean, she is technically a god.
Right.
So I'm like, does that count? Is that technically this?
I didn't finish it, but did you guys see the link I sent you with like the backstory before this episode?
No, I did not.
It was all it was like when the Doctor first met a couple of these characters, they were children. there was a fire and he helped put out the fire. That's what that guy was explaining in
I
the
remember that.
beginning.
Okay.
And there was more of that. I didn't get to read the whole thing, but I saw the last paragraph. Like, that's when the TARDIS showed up. That's when I saw the blue box. But they were children back when they first met the Doctor.
Huh. Okay.
I mean, what is it? The fellow who was cutting his hair knew everything about him from the seams of it, right? So
yeah,
because I mean they'd already talked about it. Like, you know, it's probably one of those things that he's like, "See, I told you he could save us." Like, yeah, that's like your best story though. Like, right? I mean, any story about the Doctor.
I'm curious, like, how long were they gone for? Because like one guy says, like, yeah, I know,
I was wondering that too.
I was married, I have a kid. I'm just like, how old is the kid now? How many years?
Like, was the one guy is like my mom is sick, and I'm like,
is she alive? I hope she is.
Not anymore.
I was kind of hoping that once they got out of that, they got put back in their proper times, but you know, who knows?
Yeah, no, who knows, indeed. But that's, I don't know about you guys, but that's all I got for this episode, pretty much. As much
yeah,
as
I mean, like it was a very light episode, so it makes kind of sense that it's not a big talking piece. That's why I kind of wanted to throw in the whole dot and bubble thing, because I was like, hey, it like kind of ties into it, but yeah.
Yeah, Dot and Bubble, I think, thinking about it, it's between that and Church on Ruby Road is my favorite Shooty episode.
Mine still goes to the well.
Yeah.
I love the well because I loved how like terrified he was. And that was like, I mean, and let's face it, we're all punchable characters in this season so far. So like
I also really love
lots of
Rogue.
Adams. Huh?
I also love Rogue.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like classic. And he's just dancing in a rogue ship. Like I think that whole part I absolutely loved. Trying to think. I you know what? I like Ruby Sunday. I just feel like they messed her up. Like they like hopefully there's something more with her, because they didn't give us a lot of like satisfaction with her ending in season 1.
I do hope there's a bigger reveal. Like, why the hell can she make it snow?
Right?
I thought they explained it.
Yeah, but it's still like it's still in the realm of the friends we made along the way type of explanation. I really want there to be
the memory and the emotions are so raw that time itself folds in, and then yada yada yada.
That's why I'm wondering if Mrs. Flood is tied to Ruby somehow, but Mrs. Flood has been dressed and looked like a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
So like there could be anything with that. I do hope that Ruby has a much bigger part.
I hope she's in the finale. That is the main thing.
I also want to see how Ruby's reaction to Belinda is going to be, knowing that she saw a descendant in Boom, and like because we've got that from Shooty's explanation with Belinda, and Belinda's seen it from him, but it's not been confirmed with anybody else. So it would be interesting.
We definitely need to find out more about Belinda's lineage, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely needed. There's still a lot of unanswered questions within these 2 new seasons, or within these 2 seasons of Doctor Who.
Yeah, and we also don't know why we need to get why we can't get back to May 24th, even though we know why. I don't know the reason why.
And I don't need to know why the Eiffel Tower and the Statue of Liberty was in space. I just took joy in that, but I still wouldn't mind finding out why.
Yeah. Okay, Johnny. All right. She clarified
it. Oh God. I guess we'll find out.
What's to say?
For your list, previous episode 9/10. This episode 5 out of 10.
That's fair.
Really? Sarah gives this a 5 out of 10? Okay.
Yeah, when we get you on the show next, we're gonna have to get an explanation as to why.
We definitely, Sarah. We definitely.
Not that it's not your opinion's valid, and and by the way, welcome for being off of work. But yeah, so
wish you could be here, bestie.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, hopefully we can get it where I guess next week. David, you're not going to be here.
Yes, I will not.
Okay, as long as we're all here for the season finale, I think that'll be the ultimate goal, because I am able to compile all of our ratings into the overall season rating.
Yep. And
I
then
think
once we're
that's
done
pretty
with this current season, we probably need to go back and do like a quick recap of our opinions for the first season, the 2005 run, just so we can make sure that those are updated. And then we can move forward from that because we have to
Yeah, I'm
finish
gonna
that
need
last.
everyone's rating from Christopher Eccleston's run,
Yes,
if we're able to,
absolutely.
because I do have all the episodes listed out on not a separate spreadsheet, but like one of the tabs of a spreadsheet.
Yeah, what we're gonna do with this, we have no idea, but we're gonna do it. So
I just like to keep record of numbers for some reason. I'm totally not a stereotype, I swear.
you know what we should do? One of our sister shows, the Real Study, that is going to be on tomorrow evening. What they do is what they'll do with their movies, they'll do kind of like a Polaroid thing where it like gives a synopsis or whatever. They've done that in the past. Maybe what we do is we do kind of like a recap where we do an image of the episode and then we do like our ratings, and we kind of go that way. That we have reference for it down the road.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And then, if people want, I don't know, we'll make them, and if they look cool, we can put them on shirts or something too. Oh, a picture of, well, I don't know, with copyrights, that might be a problem.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah, maybe we'll get somebody to draw something.
There you go.
Yeah.
We know many talented artists amongst the community.
Yeah. Well, with that said, we have talked about this episode, I think, enough. Again, this was the story in the engine. Looking forward to our, now all I'm going to think of is Intergalactic Eurovision. So we will be back at our normal time on Sunday next week, sans David, because David will be at Philly.
Yes.
So I believe Tony Ann's going to be there. So make sure you catch up with her and say hi.
Oh, nice.
But because I think she's pretty much anything that's in Philly.
Niko will be there as well, actually, come to think of it.
Oh,
okay.
God damn it. I don't get to meet Niko again.
Don't worry. We're going to make this work out. At some point, we're going to be going to San Diego Comic-Con or whatever else, somewhere where there's okay. Doctor Who related. I want to go to the Comic-Con museum in San Diego now because of that Doctor Who exhibit.
There's a Doctor Who exhibit at San Diego Comic-Con?
Did you not see the stuff that I shared with us on I think it was on TikTok or Instagram? I don't know which one it was.
I'll go back and check out, but
yeah, like they've got Daleks and the TARDIS and like consoles and everything there. Like it's pretty legit.
One of these years, I want to go to Gallifrey 1 in LA.
Yes, I would love that.
Oh, and then Sarah's saying New York Comic Con. I will not be going this year. I'm taking a year.
I'm also not going this year. I'm doing STCC, and that's already me pushing my luck because I am actually terrified to go south right now.
Thankfully, since I have family in New York City, I can stay. I don't have to get a hotel, so it's a lot easier for me to get there.
Lucky you.
Jealous. Like you need to connect me with your family.
I mean, hey.
Sorry, Sarah. Don't mean to suck so bad. No, it's okay.
Us or Canada?
No, it's like the one place that she knows that she can see us, like us being like nearby. No, it's gonna happen eventually. Like because I know like New York Comic Con, her thing, because especially it's like in her neighborhood. So
I mean, Sarah, if you'd like, you're welcome to come up to Toronto for Fan Expo Canada. We have Ewan McGregor there this year.
Yeah, but see, if I were to go to Canada, I might not go back.
True.
I know the healthcare. What are we gonna do?
Oh man, I pay out the butt for my healthcare through my employer, and it's still not that great. So, like,
I paid nothing for my hospital visit recently.
Yeah. That was a free ride from your car accident, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are digressing. We're declining. We are devolving.
It's just it's the
probably
community experiencing each other. It's like
Exactly.
the doctor in his barbershop.
Yeah. Well, with that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this episode. Now, again, if you were watching this and you enjoyed this and you want to go back and watch the previous catalog, you will find this in the list of podcast episodes for Tardis Talk. We were on the 2005 run. We have one more episode on that with David Tennant appearing as the regenerated doctor. But we kind of jumped from there to the new season 2 of the 15th Doctor, and we'll be going back, continuing from there once the season is done. If you like this, check us out on itsfanbox.com. Also, the FanBox or FanBoxNetwork.com. You can see this podcast as well as other podcasts and where you can find them, including The Real Study, which is on Sundays. And they just released a new show, which you can find on itsfanbox.com, called The Real Arena. So if you are a movie buff and you are considering competing, check it out and see if it's something you'd like to do. I know they'd be looking for new contestants. But with that said, you can find out. Yeah. Also check out last night's Andor episode, all 3 hours of it. And it wasn't just two guys talking. Like everyone assumes that Will and I, everyone thinks that me and Will are long-winded, but you guys did a good job of going and making relevant conversations. So go check that out. It will be available on podcasts sometime tomorrow. But with that said, I'm Tony.
Like and one time we had an outline and I actually kept us on track, thankfully.
We kept them on track for 3 hours.
And if my brand is to start a sentence and then not be able to finish it because I'm letting other people talk, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Johnny, I wanted to say this. You said you used an outline and kept everyone on track. So you had 3 hours worth of outline that you were working on? Or
apparently they were loose outlines.
I would not put this on your organizational awareness for like a resume thing. Like,
look.
I could get a meeting going for 3 hours.
Overall, I was very aware of the time and I kept us on track for the most part. And I even gave people a chance to leave when they needed to.
You and I had like the same wavelength because I looked up at the time and then you spoke about it. So I'm like, all right, we're on this page.
I gotcha.
All right. So David, go ahead, tell us where we can find you again.
I am Xanatos1138 on all socials, mostly TikTok, Twitch, and other places. I am the host of the Andor After Show with Johnny and Forward into the Black Chase. We're going to push back the last arc a week because I won't be able to do it next weekend, and I really, really, really want to be a part of it. So we're going to push that back a week, and then we're going to start doing other Star Wars stuff like Rogue One. We're going to rewatch Rogue One and then talk about it the following episode. So come check that out. Stay tuned.
All right. And Johnny.
Y'all can find me at Marvelous Johnny on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, all of the socials, even Instagram. Wait, no, not all the socials. I forgot. I deleted Twitter /X. But make sure if you're looking for me, you put 2 L's in Marvelous because that's the Canadian way.
Because you're Canadian.
Oh, Canada, eh? Yeah, but with that said, you guys have a wonderful night. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. We'll see you next time. Oh,
there we go.
Yeah, finally, somebody pulled out the science screwdriver. And goodbye.